So, this Wednesday, anything going on with you guys, or what do you have going on this week?
I don't know, just chilling in Los Angeles. No, film comes out midnight Tuesday. And there we go.
And it's the sixth film, as everybody here knows, so Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince. And it's a very interesting film. I've seen it. It's great. You guys are going to love it. One of the things that's very interesting is, in a lot of ways, I would think that this was one of the more challenging films, one of the more challenging stories to present, just because of the structure of the story. And can you talk a little bit about that? Do you agree, first of all?
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's challenging in various ways. For those of you who've read the books, you'll know that in many ways, my son makes an entrance. Sorry about that.
Security.
Jet lag. It really is in many ways, I think, one of the most difficult, because in large part, the sixth book in many ways is a setup for the seventh, and so too in the movie. So we have a lot of information that we need to get across for the seventh. Also, we're dealing with a film in which the chief nemesis of the series, Voldemort, doesn't really play. He's not really actively in the present story. He's in the film because of the memories, in the book because of the memories, but he's not an active nemesis. We don't actually see him throughout the story, as I say, except in the memories, and that's challenging. In the film, we've chosen to follow a multitude of stories. We follow Malfoy, who is, just like Harry, the chosen one, and we follow Harry's suspicion of Malfoy. We spend time with Dumbledore, help, sort of training Harry and teaching Harry, and in a way preparing him to take over the mantle of protector, I suppose, of the wizard world in some ways. And we spend quite a bit of time with teen romance and the various awkwardness of Harry, of Ron and Hermione's relationship, and their sort of struggle to admit to each other that they like one another. And Harry and Ginny begin to like each other, and that's much to Ron's dismay. So there's a lot of that too. So there's a lot going on, but it's not like there's a very clear sort of narrative drive, and it's not like there's a very clear, sort of nemesis in it, which is not the way it's been within the movies to date.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say also, by the way, we're going to take questions at the end of this. So if anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask you, we'll get a chance. We're going to bring people over here a little later to do that. One of the things that it seems to me, if you look back over the last decade in show business, I think you could argue that the single greatest decision made, because of the risk involved, could have gone any way, and the great success that followed, was the casting of your three stars. What do you guys think? Have they done a pretty good job? The three stars were fantastic. And if you think back, for us, just as on outside observers, what it must have been like to pick three little kids and try to extrapolate what they would be like over the next decade, how they would be able to handle the fame, how they would be able to handle the roles, how they would grow up. It's fascinating that you did so well. So congratulations, first of all, and then tell us a little bit about it.
Well, you don't really cast for 7 films. I don't think I had. I can tell you, I didn't have a clue that I'd be making 7 films. I'd be in 2000, and I'd be sitting here talking to you about the 6th film. So what you're trying to do when you begin the process is cast the person to play Harry, the people to play Harry, Ron, and Hermione in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, as we call it in England, and also Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. But beyond that, I had no idea. So when finding Ron and Hermione was a lot easier than finding Harry, funnily enough, though we held off making a decision on Ron and Hermione until we'd cast our Harry, because they really have to work together as a threesome. Finding Harry was a real challenge. I began that process before we had a director in October or November of 1999. And come July, we still hadn't found our Harry, which was a pretty scary thing, given that the films were called Harry Potter. So I was concerned about that. And what happened was I went to the theatre, and I was sitting in the audience with Steve Clovis, who's written 5 of the 6 films, and who will have written 7 of the 8 by the time we're done. And we were sitting in the theatre, and sitting behind us was this boy with these big blue, I'm afraid not green, but big blue eyes, and it was Dan Radcliffe. And, it was really just by chance.
That's pretty extraordinary. And the lightning tattoo, I can't believe that the kid sitting there.
He came with that little,
Unbelievable. It really is unbelievable, isn't it? The cast of people that have come through, the fantastic actors. It's a who's who, the elite of British and Irish acting.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of it. Obviously, Joe's written these fantastic characters, and I think for a lot of these actors, people like Gary Oldman and several others, it's an opportunity to be in a film that their kids or grandchildren or nieces or nephews might actually go and see, because a lot of them, most certainly someone like a Gary Oldman, have never to this point been in anything that anybody under the age of around 20 could watch.
Absolutely. Tell us a funny story. You were telling me a little bit about Michael Gambon before we came up. Give the folks an idea that he's not a sort of a professional clinical approach to acting.
No. Michael Gambon is... Dan Radcliffe referred to Michael Gambon. He was sitting next to him in a press conference last week, and he said, Michael Gambon is the most unprofessional actor he's ever worked with, and also the most respected. And Michael turned to him and said, I take that as a compliment.
It's interesting, too, to see the difference between the two Dumbledores.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's, I think that Michael has made the part very much his own. Richard Harris played Dumbledore in the first two films, and really both of them have a real twinkle in their eye. Michael paid homage to Richard by giving his character an Irish lilt, sort of a little Irish twang. But other than that, I think he's very much made the part his own, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, he seems to be made of sterner stuff.
Richard, I think, if he was playing in this part, is made of, trust me, he's made of stern stuff, or was made of stern stuff. But no, I think that's right. I think Michael, most certainly in the sixth film, which requires, as you and I were talking before, that Dumbledore really has taken the weight of the wizard world on his shoulders and has taken an awful lot of responsibility. He's always done so, but it's much more apparent in this film that you're aware that he is a very strong person, and yes, he has whimsy. Yes, he says some very funny lines, but he's a really strong wizard, and you wouldn't want to mess with him in any way at all.
Yeah, there's something flinty there for sure. What about the latest edition, Bill Nighy? Tell us a little bit about how he came into it, and he must have been somebody you had your eye on for a while.
Yeah, Bill Nighy, he's going to play Scrimmager. Bill is someone who, we've had opportunities to bring various actors in. We've all been fortunate enough to get our first choice almost all the time. And so there hasn't been room for Bill yet. But David Yates has worked with Bill a few times, and he was in State of Play, which was the TV series that turned into a film quite recently. And he was fantastic in that. He's just one of the great British actors, and he felt perfect for Scrimmager.